episode of Terrific TV Toys. I am swimming in a sea of Scooby-Doos, and it's a good thing. This is the Scooby-Doo collection at BRBTV headquarters, and there's 60-something now, I think. I lost count. And as of press time, we'll show you what we have, and it's an ever-growing collection, so stay tuned. All right, let's start out the second part of this series on the Scooby Plush with the Spotted Doos. We have Dottie Doo, and Dottie arrived at BRBTV headquarters in March 2013. She came from a crane game at a Meijer in Ypsilanti, Michigan. Then we have Spotty. So this is Dottie, Spotty, Snotty, and Diva Dottie. And Spotty came from a crane game also at a Walmart, and that was in March 2014. Then next we have Snotty and Diva Dottie. They both came from the Trap Door game at Dave & Buster's, and I believe they both were in Livonia. And for Snotty Doo, that was April 2014. And then Diva Dottie Doo, who is the big sister of Dottie Doo, she's a little bit bigger because she's like a year or two older. She came along in June 2014, but she's a couple years old. And as I mentioned in the other video, these doos tend to get a little smaller over time, so the older ones are a little bit bigger, and these are sisters, and I call them the office doos because they don't stay in the Batcave downstairs like the rest of the doos. They're upstairs in the office with me while I work during the day, so they get the distinction of being the office doos. And there's their brothers. Next up, how about some Halloween doos? Let's start with Tricky Doo and Treaty Doo, and Tricky and Treaty are, I guess the radioactive orange color that you saw in the other video on a couple other doos, but they were released for Halloween in the crane games, at least around Metro Detroit, so those both arrived in fall 2014. Then we have Scooby-Boo, and look at Scooby-Boo, he's so cute, or maybe she, I don't know, but well, we'll call him a he. He has a witch's hat on that's very cute, and then a purple cape, all set for Halloween time. And Scooby-Boo's a couple years old. He arrived at BRBTV headquarters in October 2012. Then we have these little plush doos, and look at these. These all came from Toys R Us in fall 2014. This is Super Doo, and he's got his little cape on that actually says SD for Super Doo. Of course, that's my name that I gave him. These are all my names that I give my doos. But all four of these doos in the set are in a sort of either a flying position, maybe you could consider it a flying position, or a lying down position. So that's Super Doo. Then there's Softy Doo, just plain old Softy Doo. And then this is Scaredy Pants Doo, because he's got his sort of Halloween pants on here. Look at those eyeballs coming out of his pants there. That sounds much worse than it is. And then we have Yo Ho Ho Doo. He's dressed up like a pirate for Halloween. He's got his striped shirt on, his little shorts, and then he's got his bandana around his head. So all of those, again, released and purchased at Toys R Us in fall 2014. Now here's a group of doos that I like to call the Steel City Doos, because I purchased all of them at the Steel City Con in Pennsylvania in August 2014. I paid $5 for this whole pack of doos plus two other doos that are going to be included in other videos, because one is a talkie, so I'm going to be doing a separate Scooby-Doo plush video on the talking Scooby-Doos, and then another one is part of another toy set that you'll see when I shoot it. So these are the remaining Steel City Doos. A pretty good deal for $5 for a whole bag of these plus two. This, first of all, is Hot Doggy Doo. He's got his little hot dog there. And he's got his tongue sticking out. And similar to Hot Doggy Doo is Homeboy Doo. I don't think this little necklace, whatever it is, originally came with him, but it was on him when I got him, because these are all previously owned Scooby-Doos, although they're in pretty good condition. So that's Homeboy Doo along with Hot Doggy Doo. And this is Enrique Doo. Look at little Enrique Doo. Now, Enrique Doo was a free gift that was given out by a hotel chain a couple years ago. Embassy, I believe it was. There's the E logo. And I think when they had a summer special going that year, when you booked a hotel, you could get a premium like Enrique, which again, as I mentioned in the other clip, these are all my names that I give them. These are not official names. But, you know, they tend to fit the character of the Doo. So that's little Enrique. And then we have, I call him Snacky Doo because he's got his Scooby snacks there. And Snacky Doo is special. The mysterious Crane Avenger, who shall remain nameless, has his own opinion about Snacky Doo, but I love Snacky Doo. Now, the thing about Snacky Doo, when Snacky Doo arrived, I'm going to show you in just a second. Snacky Doo had something kind of unusual in his little plastic case that this Doo actually evidently came with, and I'll show you the back for a second. If you can see that, lunchbox candy flicks for ages 3 and up. So that's what came with Snacky Doo originally. He's a cutie. He's fuzzy too. But when I bought him at the Steel City Con, I didn't realize until afterward, he had the head of another Scooby-Doo in his little lunch pail. I don't know what that means. So somebody out there, if you're watching this, really would love to solve the mystery. The mysterious Crane Avenger, who shall remain nameless, insists that Snacky Doo has a nefarious past, but I insist that Snacky Doo is perhaps a protector of Doos everywhere, and he takes this with him as a symbol of his mission. So I don't know what Doo this belonged to, but we'll just leave it right there, and we'll assume that someday this mystery is going to be solved. So message me if you're this person who previously owned Snacky Doo. Because of that, Snacky Doo needs a little protection at BRBTV headquarters because he's been discriminated against a little bit. And I believe in the goodness of Snacky Doo. So Snacky Doo tends to stick close to his best friend, who is Rainy Day Doo. Rainy Day Doo has his raincoat and little matching hat on. And it's sort of a vinyl raincoat, and he's pretty fuzzy as well, like Snacky Doo, and he's got a little bit of a slant to him, but he's cute, and he's pretty big too. Let's take a look at his tag. I think it says Cartoon Network on it. Yep, Cartoon Network, and let's see if it has a year. I think it has a year. A lot of these don't have years. Bummer. So that's Rainy Day Doo and Snacky Doo. And then rounding out this part of the set is Apollo Doo. Now, Apollo Doo I thought was going to be a duplicate when I saw him. I threw him in the bag anyways because I thought, well, I'll just give him away if he's a duplicate. Because I also had at home at the time Rocky Doo. Now, Rocky Doo came from a carnival in Northville, Michigan. He was won at a carnival, and that was in June 2014, so a couple months before Apollo Doo came along. So I had Rocky Doo, and I thought, oh, it's a duplicate, but then I got him home and I realized, no, it's not a duplicate, so he can stay. So Rocky and Apollo, they really get along very well, although once in a while they go at it. Sometimes it's fight night at BRBTV headquarters, so look out. In 2014, we started to see Scoobies appearing in the claw games at local stores that had this buck teeth thing going on. And so the first to arrive was Bucky Doo, and that was from a claw game at a Kroger in Metro Detroit, and that was April 2014. Actually, on my birthday, while I was on a cruise, the mysterious Claw Game Avenger or Crane Game Avenger, I guess those terms are interchangeable as I'm using them, nabbed that one for me. And then Baby Bucky Doo, he came from a claw game also. And that was later in the year in Metro Detroit, and actually that was at a place called Lucky's in Livonia. And then to the Bucky mix, I have to add Smiley Doo. Look at Smiley Doo. He's smiling. His head is turned toward the camera. It's almost like he's posing for his senior high school photo. He's so cute. And he actually came from the trapdoor at Dave & Buster's in Livonia in January 2014. So I add him to the Bucky mix because he's smiling too, and he and Bucky are best friends. Okay, I do have one more Bucky Doo though. Let me see, where did I put that Bucky Doo? Shoot. There he is! Oh my God, look at how big that thing is. Buckzilla, as we like to refer to him, came from a carnival in Plymouth, and this was at the end of summer. This was in September 2014. I don't know how I can get a scale for this other than, I don't know, petting him, but he's just really big. He is about 40 inches tall, and he is definitely the biggest Doo to ever cross the doorstep at BRBTV headquarters. And who knows, maybe he's like the biggest Doo ever. I don't know. What do you think? Can we find one bigger than this? Let me know, because we're on the lookout, but we love Buckzilla. He's a big boy. Let's take a look at some miscellaneous Doos, shall we? Let's start with my big boy and my bigger boy. Both of these big boys came from the Big Claw machine at the Dave & Buster's in Michigan, one from Utica and one from Livonia. And my big boy came here about a year ago, September 2013. And then my bigger boy came along in June 2014. Now, there is a size difference between these two. Can you see that the jowls of my bigger boy are bigger? And he himself in size is a little bit bigger. You can see it there in his legs too. That's because, once again, he's older. He's from a different time period. And these both are a couple, 3 years old anyways. And like I said, they came from Big Claw machines. Pinky Doo is one of the very first Doos that I got. And Pinky came from a claw game, a smaller claw game. Pinky, you'll see, is missing his little tag, his SD tag in the front. And he does have a regular tag, though, on him. And he's from 2010. Wow. A while back. And then we have Violet. Violet Doo is currently the only Doo here at BRBTV headquarters that actually was purchased on eBay. And that was summer 2014. Violet is a rather rare standing Doo. I don't have many of those. Usually the pose that my Doos are in is this one right here, sitting just like that. So Violet is special because of that, and she basically is new. She's got all of her tags, the SD tag, the regular paper tag, and even what I fondly call the butt tag. So she was a good deal, very good condition purchase on eBay. This next segment is going to focus on really what are just plainer Scooby-Doos. They don't have colors or patterns or other attributes. They're Scooby-Doos, although they have different names and different characteristics as far as I'm concerned. These two are the very first Doos that ever came to BRBTV. This one, well, I'll call this one the patriarch of the Scooby-Doo plush family. I call him Grandpa Doo. He actually looks older than he is. He was born in 1980. Doesn't he look like he's, I don't know, 70s or something? And actually, I bought him at an antique mall in Michigan somewhere in the 90s. The later 90s is when I purchased him. And I can't believe he's got this tag on. That's just crazy. I mean, look at this tag. It's still intact. It's blank on the back, but it's got all the information there about him. That's how I know he was born in 1980. And he's got a little bit of wear on him, but we love him just the same. That's Grandpa Doo. Now little Squirty came along in 1998. That's when he was born, and that's about when I purchased him. And he was, like I said, one of the very first, actually the second plush I ever got. You can see he is from Applause. Maybe you can't see that. I cannot get the camera to focus. But anyways, that's my little Squirty-Doo. Okay, we'll put Squirty over there. All right, these two, can you believe that there is actually a Doo at BRBTV headquarters that's just named Scooby-Doo? Yep, that's this one right here. Scooby-Doo came from a claw game in June 2014. And so he is a part of our family also. And then this is CP-Doo. He's a little puppy. He's just darling. And he's called CP-Doo because he came from Cedar Point. He came from Cedar Point in October 2014. He is the most recent Doo as of press time of this video. So that's CP-Doo. And then finally, this is Floppy. Can you believe Floppy? Say hi to Floppy. Floppy is sort of a pillow. He just flops all over the place. And he was won at a carnival in Michigan. And that was summer 2014. And he stays down in the Bat Cave downstairs on the couch because he's nice and comfy. And finally, if this were Gilligan's Island, this would be And the Rest. And this is not the Professor and Marianne, but it's an assortment of Doos that don't really get categorized in any other way. So this will start with King Kong Doo. King Kong Doo came to BRBTV headquarters summer 2014, was won at a carnival. And when he arrived on the scene, he was the biggest Doo that I had ever gotten so far. And of course, he's been eclipsed now from the Buckzilla that you just saw in the other segment. But we still love our King Kong Doo, and he's still pretty heckin' big, you know. All right, next up is Scrappy-Doo. Now, this came from Walgreens at Valentine's time, 2014. It was sort of a gift set, and it had a little pink sort of a tote bag with it. And you can see he's still got his little tag there as a Valentine gift set. We did not pay 10 bucks. I think we got a really good deal on him. And when I got him, I looked at him and I'm like, that's not Scooby, that's Scrappy. I mean, look, he's even got his fists up, like, let me at him, let me at him. So that is named Scrappy-Doo, and he's one of 2 Scrappy-Doos in the collection. You'll see the other one in another video because he's a talking Doo, and actually he's not a full Scrappy, he's sort of a combo, but I'll explain that in the other video. And he's in a nice little bucket. I love this. I think this came from Meyer in 2014. Nice little bucket to carry your Scrappy around in, or whatever you choose to put in it. Now this guy is one of the 4 beanbag plush that I bought at the Motor City Comic Con in May 2014. This one is called Manhattan Doo, and so this is the 4th one. The other 3 you see in part 1 of this series on Scooby Plush, and you can see he's still got his Warner Brothers tag on him. And he's adorable, and I think I got those for like $1 or $2 each at a vendor table at that con. Next is a set of 2 in different sizes. This is Drooly-Doo. Can you imagine why we call him Drooly-Doo? And this is his, I think it's his puppy, like his little baby boy. Don't ask me who the mother is. That's a whole other story. There's a lot of drama here at BRBTV headquarters. But this is Hungry Doo. Hungry Doo looks just like his dad. These are Thai plush, as you can see. And these surfaced at Meyer in 2014. So both of these were purchased at Meyer recently. And then in this set, we've also got a couple that, I don't know, are they siblings? Maybe close cousins? This is Old Yeller Doo. Now, Old Yeller Doo came from a garage sale. Oh my goodness, I paid a heckin' $1 for Old Yeller Doo. That was the deal of the century because I knew about Old Yeller Doo. I had seen pictures of him online. and I was looking for him, and there he was, this sweet little girl in mid-Michigan at this garage sale. She's the one who sold him to me, and she even explained where he came from. He did come from a claw game at some, I think, a resort in northern Michigan, you know, originally, and then she had him for a little while, and she was willing to part with him for a quarter. I just can't believe that. So here's our little buddy, old Yellerdew. And then, similar to him in the same kind of pose, this one is called Sparkly Dew, okay? Because as the mysterious crane avenger who shall remain nameless will say many, many times over and over and over, when you get him under the light just right, he sparkles. His fur sparkles. Okay, well, great. He sparkles. So he's Sparkly Dew. He's got his tongue out. He's got his tag. He is a mystery, though, because he has no butt tag. Look at that. Baby got back right there. And he's got no other kind of tag. He only has his little SD tag. So we don't know when he was born, just that he was rescued from a claw game at a bowling alley in Livonia, Michigan, and that was in October 2014, I believe. So that's Sparkly Dew. And that concludes the second part of this series on Scooby Plush. And so in part 3, you are going to see the talking dews, and there's 4 or 5 more dews that you'll see in that segment, and then there's only 1 dew left in the collection as of press time. Of course, the collection is constantly growing, so by the time I post this, I'll probably have a bunch more to put in another video at a later date. But there's only 1 other dew besides the talkie ones that you have not seen yet, and that dew, as I mentioned earlier, will be part of another video because it's really part of another toy set. So thanks for watching. I love my dews, and look for part 3 on this same channel.